Pope Francis himself. And not just any letter. This one was addressed to a man many believe could shape the future of the Catholic Church, Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle. For years, rumors swirled about a private message from the Pope to Tagle. Some said it was lost. Others believed it never existed. But now, the truth is out. The letter was personal, handwritten, and filled with guidance, a Vatican insider revealed. So why was it hidden? And why reveal it now? It's not an official appointment. It's something far more powerful, a reflection of trust, mentorship, and vision. I entrust you to carry forward the spirit of service, Pope Francis wrote, according to early reports. A message like that doesn't just land quietly. It sends shockwaves through the Vatican. Because this wasn't just a friendly note. It was a clear sign that Pope Francis saw Tagle as more than a colleague. He saw him as the future. But how did Tagle, a humble man from Manila, become so important to the Pope? Let's rewind and look at the bond that made this letter possible. A relationship built on trust. How Tagle became Francis's protege, a heart for the poor, and a vision of a church that walks with its people, not above them. When Francis first met Tagle, it wasn't long before a deep respect formed. The Pope saw something familiar in Tagle, a leader who wasn't chasing titles, but chasing purpose. He leads with his heart, not his rank, Francis once said about Tagle. In 2019, Pope Francis appointed Tagle to oversee one of the Vatican's most important departments, the Congregation for the Evangelization of Peoples. It was more than a promotion. It was a clear message to the world. Francis didn't surround himself with politicians. He chose pastors, leaders who believed in compassion over control. Tagle became a regular face by the Pope's side during key events, global missions, and sensitive church matters. He listens before he speaks. That's rare here, a fellow cardinal commented. It wasn't long before whispers began. Was Francis preparing Tagle for something bigger? But what exactly did Pope Francis say in his message? What lessons, what visions did he leave for Tagle to carry forward? Let's take a closer look inside the letter. The moment the letter was opened, those present knew. It wasn't just personal. It was historic. Written in Pope Francis's familiar handwriting, the letter wasn't filled with instructions or commands. It was filled with something far more powerful: wisdom. The Church does not belong to those who seek power. It belongs to those who serve, Francis wrote. In those simple words, the Pope laid out his vision, not just for Tagle, but for the future of Catholic leadership. He spoke of humility, compassion, and the need for a church that listens more than it speaks. A church that embraces change without forgetting its roots. But there was one line that truly stood out. Luis, you understand the hearts of the people. Never lose that. The future needs leaders who carry mercy in both hands, not with fear, but with faith. For many, this letter confirms what they've long suspected, that Pope Francis wasn't just mentoring Tagle, he was preparing him. Now, as the world reads between the lines, one question remains. Was this letter a private message or a public prophecy? Next, we explore the phrase that sparked global speculation. He has my spirit. Sources say Tagle spent days in prayer after reading the letter, seeking guidance, not glory. His reaction was exactly what Francis would have hoped for: calm, thoughtful, and grounded in faith. Even as speculation grew around him, Tagle continued his work, focusing on humanitarian efforts, interfaith dialogue, and supporting communities in need. The Church must always be with the people, especially in times of struggle, he reminded his congregation. For Tagle, the letter wasn't about personal destiny. It was about continuing a mission he and Pope Francis both believed in. Tagle represents a different future, said a senior Vatican analyst. And not everyone is ready for that. Progressive cardinals, younger clergy, and millions of Catholics across Asia, Africa, and Latin America view him as the natural continuation of Pope Francis's vision. A leader who understands modern challenges but stays rooted in faith. He speaks to the people. He understands suffering. That's the kind of leadership we need now, said a bishop from Kenya. Under Tagle's influence, the Church could transform into a more active force, helping not just souls, but lives. Then there's his commitment to interfaith dialogue. Tagle's ability to build bridges between faiths could bring a fresh sense of unity and peace. And let's not forget the youth. Tagle knows that the future of the Church depends on engaging younger generations who often feel disconnected.
Taking the name Francis, the patron saint of animals and helper of the poor.
Buonasera.